We are Onyx Imaging. We are the highest rated and most reviewed printer service center in Oklahoma.
Hi, my name is John with Onyx Imaging, and today we're going to take a look at this Okidata B710 printer, and we're going to take a look at some common causes of paper jams. More specifically, we're going to look at some paper jams that happen because of issues inside of the paper tray. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and remove the paper tray. And take it all the way out of the machine just to make it easier to look at. And I'm also going to take off this little cover off the front here, just so we can see inside of it a little bit better. And as well as remove the paper that's inside of this printer. Now, if I turn this up so you can look inside, you notice that there's three pieces that actually move inside of this paper tray, and that's to adjust this paper tray for the specific size paper that you're using inside of this paper tray. So it's very important that all these are set on the indications inside for the specific size paper that you're using. In our case, we're using a standard 8.5 by 11 or letter paper. So I'll look and make sure that all of my adjustments are set for 8.5 by 11 or letter. In this case they are, but if not, two things could happen. If you have it set for a smaller piece of paper than what you're actually using, what's going to happen is it's going to squeeze the paper too tight inside the paper tray, and it's going to be really hard for the printer to pull it through. And if you have it set for a larger size piece of paper than what you're actually using, it can actually allow the paper to be way too loose inside the paper tray. And again, the printer's going to have a really hard time trying to pull it through. So very important, make sure these are set specifically for the size paper that you're using. And you want to make sure they're right on the indicators. So another thing that we see quite frequently is from adding paper into your paper tray. Let's say you have a few sheets left inside the bottom of your paper tray, and you go to add another stack of paper on top of it. And what happens is when you take it and you kind of slide it on and you push it back, a couple pieces of paper will kind of curl up and pinch in the back of the paper tray. And what happens is, again, that causes the paper to kind of squeeze inside of that paper tray and get way too tight. So again, it's going to do the same thing as having the paper tray set too small. It's going to squeeze that paper in there, and it's not going to allow that paper to pull through the printer properly, and it's going to give you your paper jams. The third and final thing that we see quite frequently inside the paper tray, as far as the paper goes inside the paper tray, is overfilling this paper tray. So if you look around on two sides, there's actually little tabs that poke in towards the paper tray. What those are for, those are basically your maximum fill lines. So the paper tray is telling you do not put more paper than this height inside of this paper tray. I get it, nobody wants to stop in the middle of a print job and add more paper, so you try to cram as much paper into it as you possibly can. But if you go above this mark, or maybe you might be able to kind of cram the edges down below that little mark there, it's going to hump here in the middle. And again, what that's going to do is it's going to put way too much pressure against your paper pickup assembly, and the printer's going to have a really hard time pulling it through until you get below that mark. So if you're noticing that you're getting a lot of paper jams after you just replace paper, but after you use it for a little while it gets a little bit better and better, that's going to signify that you're putting too much paper into your paper tray. So please don't overfill it. Usually I'll put, as a general rule, leave a small gap between this top little mark and my top sheet of paper, and that goes a long way as far as preventing paper jams. Now the absolute last thing, if none of those are helping you, would be if you've had this printer a while, if you used it pretty heavily, and you can't remember the last time it's been maintenance, or it's just been a long time since it's been maintenance, there's a good chance the rollers are worn and need to be replaced. If that's the case, please feel free to reach out to Onyx. We'd love to help you out with that. Also, if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to Onyx. We'd love to help answer those for you. Also, last thing is, if there's any way we can help supply with any of your printer office supply needs, we'd love to help supply this for you as well. We hope you have a great day and you're back up and printing. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you're interested in how you can receive free labor on all of your service calls, as well as how to qualify for free printer upgrades, contact us today. We are here for all of your printer and office supply needs.